All right, Thursday night Krug show. The Thursday nighter goes to the Falcons. How about that? Kirk Cousins beats Baker Mayfield. The Bucs lose. A surprise to begin Week 15. Sterling's in the house Thursday night. A lot to get to. Let's go. Off and running on the Krug show on a Thursday. Sterling Bennett is with us. Tampa loses at home to the Falcons. Falcons roll to 5-9. Tampa falls to 7-7. Wow. Tampa in the old throwback unis reminds us when they were bad, and they were bad tonight. We'll talk about that. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out, so get there early. Get some brisket chili. Tell them Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, on the Monterey Peninsula. The great Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264. All right, we're off and running. What'd you think of the Thursday nighter? Kirk Cousins, it seems like in some of these primetime games, has a tendency to step up. He played one of the greatest games I've ever seen him play against the Niners a couple years ago in Minnesota for the Vikings. What did you think of the win tonight? Atlanta on the road. They've looked like absolute dead for about a month. And in this game, they beat Tampa, and Tampa looks like they're kind of running out of gas here.
Yeah, the Falcons are kind of playing for their, I guess you could say, to make the Rams' first-round draft pick not be as good next year as it currently stands. And Raheem Morris is probably coaching for his job right now. And so to go out there on the road and take out the Buccaneers, who I think have lost 6 of their last 8 games. They seem like they're running out of steam late in the year. They're getting healthy, but just don't seem to be the exact same team they were to begin this season. And it makes the NFC South a big question mark. The Panthers are now in first place in that division. I don't know about you, Larry, but I'm eyeing that 5th seed, saying that may be the route if San Francisco needs to go to the Super Bowl to take, because you go through Carolina, maybe somebody else better than you gets taken out by somebody else as well. And the road to Levi Stadium looks a little bit easier with the 5th seed compared to the 6th or 7th seed right now.
Well, first of all, let me just say this. I think Atlanta, they're not going anywhere this year. They're 5-9. Penix, question mark about Penix, but they're doing a nice job personnel-wise. Xavier Watts, nice pickup.
Great draft.
Kobe Bryant, they got him after the draft. That's a nice little pickup. They had 5 sacks tonight. Jalen Walker is a nice player. Aurora. They got some guys. They got some guys on both sides of the ball. I don't know if they have the right quarterback yet. But I like what Atlanta's building. As far as Tampa goes, they got Mike Evans back today. That was great to see, and he had a big day. If you're a fantasy Mike Evans owner, 6 for 132 for Evans. He looks like he might have a big finish. Antoine Winfield had 13 tackles for Tampa, but Tampa only 1 sack all night. It was from Hassan Reddick. They only had 4 hits on the quarterback all night. You just can't – if you can't affect the quarterback, it's hard to win. That's one. And then I would say the other takeaway here is just – I think watching this game, if I'm the Niners, I think I would make an aggressive play in the offseason for Kyle Pitts. I just think that Kyle Pitts, was supposed to be this great tight end. Then he had some injuries, and he was awesome at Florida, but he had some injuries early in the NFL, and now he's a free agent at the end of the year, and he's been a little disappointing until this year, but I think he's ready for takeoff. I think he's going to have a really nice next 3 or 4 years. And to me, whoever gets him in free agency is going to get a significant player. They targeted him 12 times tonight. He had 11 catches for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Could you imagine what the Niners offense would look like if you could add Pitts to Kittle, CMC? Probably not going to have JJ next year, but I would love to see Pitts in the Shanahan offense. I think he would be amazing.
Yeah, it's basically swapping out Jauan Jennings for Kyle Pitts, who is more explosive, a better athlete, maybe isn't the blocker that Jauan is, but Kyle, I think Sean McVay said in 2021 that he was scared, although San Francisco drafted Trey Lance at 3. He was scared they were going to take Kyle Pitts. And he was like, what does this do for me as a Rams head coach? And obviously things didn't work out that way for San Francisco, but you can tell that there is, at least from a on paper schematic standpoint, if you put Kyle Pitts in a Shanahan offense and he can almost be a Pro Bowler. He has the build, he has the speed, he has the height, and I don't know if he has to be a tight end. Like, just make him your big slot guy and toss him out there with your 3 receiver sets, Pearsall, Pitts, and whoever else you get next year. It's like, why not? Like, the more the merrier. And if you're going to lose Aiyuk and Jennings, let's have some fun, get more explosive. Purdy wants to push the ball downfield. Kyle Pitts and Purdy may be really good next year if things come together.
Well, I mean, as we're sitting here right now at 9:00 Pacific on Thursday, December the 11th, Detroit and Tampa and Dallas, arguably 3 of the, I think probably the better teams that the Niners could play in the playoffs, are all out of the playoffs. That means no Dak, no Baker Mayfield, no Jared Goff. And, I'm starting to look at the playoff teams and, I know the 49ers have a bad defense. I know they don't have much pass rush. I know, they're supposed to be kind of dead. But Chicago, Seattle, Carolina, Philly, Green Bay. Now the Rams are the Rams, and I won't put them in that group. But the rest of those teams in the NFC playoffs, to me, do not look overwhelming. I mean, I know Philly at times looks pretty good, but I don't believe in them. Heck, they got their media are asking if it's time to pull Hurts. He was the Super Bowl MVP. Green Bay's got issues. They lost Tucker Kraft. They lost Devontae Wyatt. Chicago doesn't stop the run. They're giving up over 5 yards a carry in like 6 of the last 7 games. Seattle's got Darnold. He turns it over. Carolina, we saw them. They are thoroughly unimpressive. I kind of fear Detroit because of Jahmyr Gibbs and all those weapons. They may not make it. I kind of feel Tampa. They've already beaten the Niners because of Baker Mayfield. I kind of fear Dallas just because of all the talent they have. Now with the new defensive look up front, they look quite a bit better. But those teams might not make the playoffs. So I'm at a point now where I feel pretty good about the playoffs. If, as a 49er fan, I'm not cocky about it. But like right now, if the playoffs started right now, Rams are the 1, Green Bay hosts Chicago, Eagles host Niners, Panthers host Seahawks. I like it. Let's go to Philly. I don't feel like it's, oh my God, what? You're gonna have to beat the Super Bowl shit. No, I don't. I'm not that they. I don't respect them, but they're nothing great. I've watched them. They're all right. Niners should win that game. So I feel pretty good about the playoffs right now. How do you view it?
Yeah, I think there really isn't a team that terrifies me. In previous years, you can point to, Philadelphia and their defense, and if Hurts playing average football, maybe it's Philadelphia. The Rams, I know this year are playing good football. Matthew Stafford's probably going to get the MVP, and that's all deserved from him. And yeah, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. But San Francisco with Mac Jones outscored them from the second half forward in that game at Levi's Stadium. And obviously context comes into play, but you can make an argument that even with how good the Rams have been, Niners, whether it's SoFi or at home, it's going to be a home game. The Niners have beaten the Rams once this year, and you get Shanahan McVay, for a third, game this season, anything could happen. Yeah, Purdy back healthy for the first time in that matchup in 2025. And although that be probably the one team you're more scared of compared to others, everything's open. Anything can happen. I'm not scared of going to Carolina, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Chicago. It's like, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's the playoffs, but like, all these teams can be had, including San Francisco, which I think makes it more exciting. Where you mentioned the Lions and the Dallas Cowboys, you can argue those two teams are probably the most feared in the NFC playoff picture that aren't going to make the playoffs right now. So Those two teams are probably the more complete teams that, again, won't make it in if things ended today. But I have a lot of high hope for San Francisco. I don't know how good they'll be in the playoffs, but anything is possible. Shout out Kevin Garnett.
Do you believe? I mean, I had an old buddy who I used to scout with in the Canadian League who believed all the time that the better quarterback wins in the playoffs, period. And obviously, he would have been wrong in the last year's Super Bowl, right? Because Mahomes lost to Hurts. But if we just did that exercise in the NFC, Rams are the one. They got the bye. Okay, so Green Bay, Jordan Love going at Green Bay against the Bears in the first round with Caleb Williams. Who's the better quarterback, Jordan Love or Caleb Williams?
Jordan Love.
Okay, I agree. So let's say Jordan Love gets that win. Then Hurts again, Philly against the Niners. Who's the better quarterback?
Right now, I think I'd say Brock Purdy.
I think I would too. Carolina, Seattle. Who's the better quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Okay. So now you got Niners going to L.A., Purdy against Stafford, and you've got Green Bay hosting Seattle. Who's the better quarterback, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold?
Jordan Love.
Okay. And who's the better quarterback, Stafford or Purdy?
Matthew Stafford.
All right. So it's Green Bay and Love against L.A. and Stafford, and you got Stafford winning that game going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that very well could be how it plays out. I mean, that would not be shocking. All right, let's jump to the AFC. We'll play this game in the AFC. Denver's the one, okay? And they obviously Bo Nix, okay? So the two, it's New England versus the 7, which is Houston. Who's the better quarterback, Drake May or C.J. Stroud?
Ooh. Right now, I think you'd say Drake May, but
I'd say Drake May.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've got Buffalo at Jacksonville. We know Josh Allen is the better quarterback.
Yeah. No contest.
Then we've got Pittsburgh at home against the Chargers. Didn't we just get this game? Did we get this game the other day? Do we see Pittsburgh and the Chargers recently? I feel like we did.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Pretty sure we did.
Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we got that one. And Chargers beat Pittsburgh. Yeah, we got that 25-10. 25-10. Okay. I thought I couldn't remember. I remember just seeing that. Okay, so now you've got Pittsburgh Chargers. Who's the better quarterback? Rodgers or Herbert?
Herbert.
Yeah, at this point, Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the lowest remaining seed is Buffalo. So you've got Buffalo at New England. Who's the better quarterback? Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Chargers. Chargers against who did I have? Chargers against who beat Houston? Who did I have down here beating Houston? Oh, New England
Patriots.
New England. Yeah. So it's Chargers. It would be Chargers, Denver, right? Would be in the other AFC. Who's better between Herbert and Nix?
Herbert's better than Bo Nix.
Probably Herbert. Then you'd have Josh Allen and Herbert, Buffalo and Chargers. What do you got?
So
you got Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
And then you got Josh Allen versus Stafford. And who's the better quarterback? And I mean, that one you could argue that Josh Allen is the better quarterback, maybe in all of our opinions, like his whole career. But right now, I would say Stafford is playing better than Josh Allen, so Stafford's the better quarterback. And maybe it's Rams over Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm just saying, if you did that exercise, who's the better quarterback? You see how it pretty much goes. I mean, there might be, Buffalo could get beat. So Josh Allen, who knows? Josh Allen maybe gets beat. I think New England might be able to beat Josh Allen in Buffalo. I think New England's team, I think, is better than Buffalo's team. And I think Denver's team is probably better than the Chargers team. But it is interesting if you just look at it that way. And if you just laid it out that way, it's Buffalo against the Rams, with the Rams likely winning it all. And if you painted that scenario, I don't think that's a crazy scenario at all. I mean, I think that, and that's just by saying who's the better quarterback across the board.
But you know what's crazy about that is if you hyper-focus back on the NFC, there's an argument to be made when you mix in current play, playoff history, that Brock Purdy might be the second best quarterback amongst that group.
No doubt.
And like, they may lose in the first round. Who knows? Anything can happen. But like, I was kind of going through the rankings in my own head and, on my own channel, it was like, wow, like the Niners may have the second best quarterback in the conference right now, going into the playoffs against Carolina, against Philadelphia, Green Bay, Chicago, LA. It's like, they have a legitimate chance against all these teams to win simply because they have Brock Purdy back playing quarterback, which he's playing great game against the Browns a couple weeks ago, and hopefully against Tennessee on Sunday, which should be a big barn burner for them offensively. At least I hope so. It's just Brock Purdy makes this offense different, and he makes them more feared across the NFL. And I think if you walked onto any field against any team, you like your chances with Brock Purdy playing quarterback, which is crazy to say, knowing the injuries he's had this year and how bad San Francisco's defense can be at times. But I have the utmost confidence that if the score is 0-0 when the game starts, San Francisco can be leading when it's over with too, because Brock Purdy's playing quarterback.
He's playing at a really high level. Now, it's funny. I thought his last game against the Browns, all things considered, the weather, he struggled in weather, the wind. We know how hard it is to play quarterback in wind. The wide nine defense that Schwartz has, obviously the scald that Myles Garrett was on coming in. When you put all those factors together, I kind of thought that was one of Purdy's best games. Now, Shanahan didn't agree when I asked him about it, but it's funny. We talked to Kubiak today, and I was looking for some insight into what he thought of Purdy's performance. And I think Jennifer Leachan asked him, hey, was that part of the plan? Brock threw it away 7 times. Was that part of the plan to throw it away? And he said, well, not necessarily specifically to throw it away, but we did make the point over and over and over that we can't hold the ball. We can't have a second, third, fourth hitch against this D-line in this game. The ball's got to come out. We either got to make a play or we got to throw it away. We can't sit there and hold it, and take sacks. Now, I know it was just a one game, but when you watch the way Brock Purdy plays, it's like if he just, any element that you can introduce that helps him take better care of the football, I think is in the team's best interest, his best interest, and makes him a much better football player. I look at Brock Purdy no different than I look at Stafford. Stafford's been doing what Stafford's doing this year his whole career. Well, what's the difference then? Well, the difference is the turnovers. He always used to throw for 300 yards, but he'd fumble twice and throw 2 picks. Now he's not turning it over. He's throwing the ball into the ground. He's not putting it up for grabs. He's not throwing picks. And he still has the ability to throw for 400 yards, and now he's eliminating the picks. So I kind of see the same thing with Purdy, that like if you can eliminate and eradicate the huge negative play, which is a turnover in an NFL game, from Brock Purdy's game, how many games have we seen? Let's be honest here. I mean, I could almost go back and look at it. Now, granted, interceptions are part of how you lose, right? You get pressure in your face, and all of a sudden you're turning it over. But let's just go back and just say for a second, how many games can you remember Brock Purdy losing where he just lost? He didn't turn it over. He didn't fumble it. He didn't throw picks. He just lost. Not very many. I mean, I don't know what that number is because I haven't done that work, but I will after the show. But my sense of it Sterling, is that it's not very many. Like most of the time when Brock Purdy's lost, he's had mass turnovers. He turned it over 3 picks or whatever, a couple fumble. I don't remember him losing that many games. First of all, he hasn't lost a lot of games, period.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's lost that many games where he hasn't turned it over. So if you could just get him to throw the ball away like he did last week in Cleveland, Sterling, I actually think it could unlock a lot of success in Brock Purdy because he's trying to make a play. He's trying to make a play, and he'll turn it over. But, man, if he's got that mindset of like, hey, if it's not there, throw it away, now it just comes down to, can you beat Brock Purdy when he's not turning it over? And he's a tough son of a gun to beat if he doesn't turn it over.
Yeah, I've used the analogy of the gunslinger, right? We all want Brock to push the ball downfield, be a playmaker, use his legs, just be kind of fearless in the pocket and making his throws. And Brock is that. However, sometimes he puts his foot in the bucket and he makes a few mistakes, like against the Panthers and against Jacksonville earlier in the season. But I wish Brock would almost transition from a gunslinger to kind of a sniper, where it's like, hey, you can take a shot. We are open for you taking a shot, but be more selective in when you take those chances. Don't do it on 2nd and 2 on the opponent's 34-yard line. You're in field goal range. You don't want to risk not scoring some points, or don't do it back against your own end zone. And so I think we saw the Browns game, especially, that was Purdy's best game of the season by far, because there was a selective and calculated risk-taking, but also playing smart, being safe with the football, no fumbles, no picks, living to fight for the next down. And going back to what you said about, when's the last time Purdy's lost a game? The last time I'm sure was last year at some point, maybe against the Rams or whatever. But you go back to 2023, their 3-game losing streak was because they were turning the ball over consistently, right? And there were some missed field goals in there too. But, you can really point to all of Purdy's losses, or many of them, simply being because turnovers. And if you can dwindle those, like you're saying, and you go into a playoff series against somebody, or you have the Rams or whatnot, you have 3 good teams coming up, the Colts, the Bears, and Seattle, like week 18 could be for the division, could be for the number 1 seed. And you're at home, and I mean, man, like if Purdy can, decrease his number of his turnover where he plays or whatnot, San Francisco, I think, has the dogs to beat anybody. And if you're Purdy, it's like, I know I can do this. I've been to a Super Bowl. I've won games in the biggest, brightest lights. I helped bring us back in the NFC Championship game where I didn't play good in the first half. And then I used my legs, made a couple big throws in that second half, and we won. So it's like, you want Brock to have the utmost confidence, but also it's like, dial it back a little bit if you can, and be more selective in your shot taking, if you will. Nobody likes a heat check. That's when you get in trouble. Like sometimes you want to make sure you're hitting that net over and over again. So belief in Brock is high, but yes, there have been some turnover problems, and hopefully you can just dial it down a bit as the next 3 games go.
It's interesting looking at the playoff picture. Sometimes you catch a break. Maybe the Niners will catch a break. If the Bears beat Green Bay, right now, just looking at the matchups, Bears would play Green Bay in Green Bay. And Green Bay kind of owns the Bears. But if the Bears somehow beat Green Bay in Green Bay, and this would be the 3rd time they'd play them this year, which is it's all in a who knows, maybe Green Bay beats the Bears at Soldier Field, and now they're going for 3 in a row. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. But let's just say that the Bears won that game. It would be the Bears going to Los Angeles, and the Niners would get the Seahawks-Carolina winner. Most likely, I would think it would be Seattle. And you know what? That could be really exciting. I mean, I think the Bears may be able to go to L.A. and beat the Rams. The Bears have a little magic going right now. If there was one team that you think has magic, who do you think it is? I mean, to me, it just seems like Ben Johnson and the Bears and their offensive line, the run game. Green Bay beat them and looked pretty cocky and confident doing it. And the Bears didn't look very confident against Green Bay. But I think something about Chicago says they got a little magic carpet ride. Philly, no. Carolina, no. Seattle, no. Green Bay. I don't see the other teams as having that kind of juice. I see the Bears as potentially having some tremendous momentum. It's been a while. The city's excited. Ben Johnson's taking off his shirt. The Bears seem like they got a little momentum, but maybe Green Bay knocks them off. I mean, that's the thing. You got to play whoever you play. To me, if you could avoid the Rams, that would be great. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah. Am I wrong to think that the Panthers and the Seahawks isn't a good matchup for Seattle and Sam Darnold? Like, that defense gets takeaways. They have a ball hawking secondary. Like, Darnold can get into trouble really fast against them. Now, Panthers offense isn't great, but I don't know. Like, that is a first round wild card matchup. To me, does not favor the Seahawks whatsoever.
I don't believe in Darnold.
No.
Do you? I mean, do you believe in Darnold? I don't believe in Darnold.
It's one of those things where it's like, once I see it, then I'll believe it. But until I see it, no, not a chance am I buying the Darnold hype going into this year's playoffs.
Okay, I got another topic that I want to get your thoughts on. My man Raj put this one out today, and we talked to Ricky Pearsall today. And he said something, and I don't know what you think of it. I want to hear your thoughts on it before I start roasting this guy. Here, this is via 95.7. Ricky Pearsall and his recent struggles. Just handling what I can and controlling what I can control. That's always my mindset. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if I see a W on the board, that's all that matters. I mean, that's great. I mean, nobody wants a guy who's about himself over the team, but I don't see any way around it. I had Matt Barrows on the radio show tonight, and he agreed. There's no way the 49ers get where they want to go unless this guy steps up and starts to play ball. They have no passing attack. They have no downfield attack. They are not an explosive team because they don't throw it to anybody who's explosive. Here's a guy who's 4-4 and has the ability to make some plays down the field. I would say it's Ricky Pearsall or bust. Either Ricky Pearsall is going to play well in the playoffs and the 49ers are going to surprise some people, or he's not and they're not.
Yeah, Pearsall really holds the keys, I think, to how far this team can go. I think you're right. Having at least one receiver that can beat man coverage and beat press coverage and get open and sit in the soft zones that isn't Jauan Jennings, who can't catch a ball 15 yards downfield unless it's a contested catch. Like, you have to have guys that can get open consistently. And, you'd like to believe that was the thought process in trading away Debo, and you have Aiyuk and you have Pearsall, and you go, oh my gosh, look what we have. We have an abundance of riches. And now it's like, you don't got anybody out there for obvious reasons, but you can hope that this game against Tennessee is the breakout, because there just really hasn't been much from Pearsall. He had one nice third down catch against Cleveland. It helped them score late in that first half, but it's not enough. It's not enough. When you talk about having to go against the Rams or against the Seahawks, which I know San Francisco beat them early in the year, week 1, and Pearsall was a big factor in that game. He was a big factor in the win against the Cardinals in week 3. They need him to come alive, get hot, or at least start contributing more as the year goes on. You have tough games ahead of you against Chicago, against the Colts, against Seattle. Like, you can't afford to go through the last month of the season and the playoffs having Demarcus Robinson do end arounds and catch no passes a game, and Jauan Jennings, who's been great the last couple weeks or so. He can't be your number one receiver. I mean, this team missed the playoffs last year for a lot of reasons, but because Jauan Jennings was their number one wide receiver and nobody else can get open. And so you love Kittle, you love Christian McCaffrey, but man, like, Pearsall, like, you don't want to say it's all on his shoulders, because it's not, but realistically speaking, like, he is a major factor in how far San Francisco can go. And you love guys not being selfish, but to a certain extent, it's like, be a wide receiver, be a little selfish, say, I want the ball, like, put the ball in my hands. I can help us win some games. And maybe that changes on Sunday against Tennessee. But if San Francisco, like you said, Larry, want a chance to go all the way this year, Pearsall has to be more involved in the offense. Because if he's not, good luck against the Rams or anybody else in the playoffs.
I asked Kubiak today. You should have seen the look on his face. It was classic. I said, I go, hey, look, Pearsall's got 5 catches for 20 yards in the last 3 games. He's got 25 receptions. He's got no touchdowns in 7 games. Um, is this on him or is this on you guys? And what I meant by that is like so many people have exonerated him of any kind of blame in this situation. Ricky's really doing great, and he couldn't be better, and nobody runs better routes, nobody's got better hands, nobody's more of an impact. I mean, he's the greatest receiver of all time when they talk about him, except there's no touchdowns, and he's averaging about 3 receptions a game, and he's making very little impact. So I asked that question. I'm like, is this on him or is this on you guys? And when I did that, the look on his face, eyes open up. Uh-oh. It's not me. Don't blame me. As soon as it's like Ricky's not to blame as soon as it's like Ricky or you, then all of a sudden, well, maybe Ricky is to blame. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting. And he's like, Ricky's not doing anything wrong. It's just receiver luck and the ball's not finding him. It's amazing how lucky Jerry Rice was. He was just the luckiest guy. It was amazing luck. The ball just always found Jerry. I don't know how he did that all those years. Just like walking around with a 4-leaf clover in his back pocket. He was just such a lucky guy. Or maybe it's not luck. Maybe it has something to do with talent. I don't know. But when I asked him that question, he didn't say, hey, we're not getting it to him. But he didn't say, he said Ricky's doing well, but Ricky's not doing anything. So, I feel like it's like I'm talking to like a teacher who's going to get fired, totally shit canned if her class doesn't reach, the next levels. Jimmy's doing really, really well. Really, Jimmy got like a 7 percentile in the SAT. Jimmy's a hell of a student. Really, Jimmy can't write his name. Jimmy, I feel really confident in Jimmy's future. Really, Jimmy's going to be, working with his hands. I mean, it's after a while, it's like, why we even bother talking? It's like, talk's cheap, man. I want to see it. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as the awesome DN that doesn't sack the quarterback. There's no such thing as the awesome talk show host in sports radio that gets shitty ratings. There's no such thing as the awesome wide receiver who scores no touchdowns and averages 25 yards a game. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to stop kissing this guy's ass and start holding him accountable for being the guy. They ain't going anywhere unless he leads them there. And right now, I'd say the odds are they ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not too much to ask to want your first round draft pick to actually be integrated into the offense and give you a touchdown or, give you 500 yards receiving. Now, I know injuries play a factor into this and whatnot, and it's okay. You can forgive a little bit of it, but when crunch time comes and the lights get bright and you're healthy come playoff time, you got to show up. When you're playing teams like Seattle and Chicago, you got to show up. This team cannot go into Los Angeles and go toe-to-toe with the Rams, who are probably going to score 30 points against this defense if they play again this year, and just say, yep, no Pearsall. It's like, well, I mean, come on. Like, you really need Ricky Pearsall to show up, and I like Ricky a lot. I think he plays the game right. I think he has the right mindset, but that's all great and fine and dandy, but if you're not performing, who cares? I don't care what your pressers sound like. I don't care what your radio hits sound like. I don't care, all the talk, like you said, of what the coaching staff says. It doesn't matter. Like, production's what matters. And there is a thing called empty production, and there's a thing called meaningful production. Can you find something in between? Can you give me, a couple third down conversion catches like you had against the Browns, multiple times a game? Can you give me a big 25-yard in-breaker over the middle and get us in field goal position early in the game to help steal some points? Like, Ricky hasn't done that ever since really week number 3, so before his injury, but you can't win in the NFL having an offense that can't throw outside the numbers and can't push the ball downfield. Doesn't have to be a lot, just something. Just give me something. And there has been not much and really nothing the last 3 games or so.
We did a stream the other day. We're going to do a sleeper lineup right here, but and we should. Well, why don't we do that? But I want to get into some of the biggest issues with the 49ers. But first, let's do our sleeper lineup. And, of course, we should tell everybody the Krug Show all season long is presented by Sleeper, the fastest-growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, easy to remember, LARRY, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. And if you haven't signed up for Sleeper yet, now's the perfect time. Use my code to get free $20. That's right, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users still also receive 100% deposit match up to $100, and you'll give yourself a shot to win 1,000 times your cash. Even better, anyone who trails this community built slip will get a chance to win $100 to use on Sleeper. Just send a screenshot of your slip with these picks to HMA Sleeper Picks at gmail.com and your Sleeper username in the email to enter. Include your Sleeper username in the email to enter. We're running this every week in the month of December, so do not miss out. All right, let's take a look at our lineup here. All right, what are we going to go with? Who do you want? Let's take a look at Kittle.
Yeah, that's the big one.
One of the things that stands out is that they're really bad in the intermediate area. Tennessee is at defending the intermediate, and that's where Kittle makes hay. I would say I like Kittle for the anytime touchdown. I think he's scoring in the red zone a lot these days.
Yeah, I'd agree. Titans, their linebackers have allowed nearly 800 yards in coverage and an 88.1 passer rating when targeted. They've also allowed 5 touchdowns tight ends this year, so Kittle is almost a shoo-in for a big game this Sunday.
Give me that one. Let me see CMC. CMC is ill, and I think the Niners, maybe could go with Brian Robinson in this game and probably get by. But man, when you look at the numbers at how bad, last week Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson didn't do much as runners, but as receivers, they could not be stopped. And I just think Tennessee you can't stop those guys. And now you got McCaffrey. I like the receiving yards. I like 47 receiving yards for McCaffrey.
It sounds about right.
It's a little higher than I want. I'd rather that be like 38 and go with 39, but I'll go with 47.
Yeah, the Titans, while their rushing defense has really improved, it's jumped from 18th to 5th the last 3 weeks. You're just not going to get the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands. You're just not. He's going to get 15 touches, 20 touches, and a lot of those may be like, I would not be shocked to watch Brock Purdy drop back 35 times in this game and CMC gets 15 catches. Like, it just feels like that kind of day for them, knowing how bad Tennessee's secondary is. But yeah, CMC for the win, as always.
And it may be him dropping back to pass and throwing it to CMC. It could be that. But do you have one that you want to pick here before we go into the chat and see if they can give us a pick?
What about Jauan Jennings, right? The Titans secondary so far this year, they have 3 guys have combined to give up over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. They're starting cornerbacks, especially on the outside. Jauan's a big dude. He has a touchdown streak happening right now. It's off the bye week. I would not be shocked to see any time Jauan Jennings touchdown take place. I think he has 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games, something like that. Okay. Jauan's playing good. He's playing well, and I think against the secondary, he's going to have some fun.
Let's go anytime touchdown for JJ there. And let's see what the chat. Does the chat have one? Does the chat have a pick? We got this one. Can you bet on JK getting DNP'd? Yes. Just working a warrior angle on this.
Yeah. Is there a Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga package deal for Giannis Antetokounmpo in this somewhere?
No. Okay. Well, we got somebody saying KB. Let's go with Kendrick Bourne. Let's take a look at Bourne's stats. We'll see what Bourne's got to bring us here. What are we looking at with Bourne? Let's see. Kendrick Bourne. Just an anytime touchdown. Is that it?
We have a pick for Purdy as well.
Okay, let's go Purdy. We'll go Purdy. Brock Purdy. Let's see what Brock Purdy's got on there.
I could see Purdy throwing a pick this game. He's going to get overzealous at some point, take a shot downfield, may pay off, may not. I could see it.
Is there an anytime pick there? Is that? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, let's go more. Okay, we'll go more on the interception. On the half interception for Brock. All right, maybe one more. We'll do one more here.
Do we dare bet on Pearsall?
Look at this. Chris says Pearsall touchdown. Chris is living right.
All right.
Well, this better pay off fat. It's better pay off big because we're really now going long shots. I'd rather go Eddie Pinheiro with 5 field goals than Pearsall with a touchdown. But here we go. We'll go Pearsall with the touchdown. Do we have Pearsall with the touchdown? That's Pollard.
Do they even have Pearsall?
There he is. There's Pearsall. He's down the list a little bit. Okay. So we have an anytime touchdown for Pearsall.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what it looks like. We'll put it together. Put it all together. Cook it all up. Let's see what this is going to add up to. Better add up to some serious money. I'm going to lose it. We need 2 more required. 2+ required.
We have to pick a Titan, maybe.
Okay, let's give us one more. Give us Cam Ward. Do we dare go with Cam Ward throwing a pick? The Niners just never get picks.
Honestly, I think I'd bank on Tony Pollard's yards. San Francisco's run defense kind of shoddy.
All right, let's go Tony Pollard. Let's see Pollard's yards. What do you think that number's going to be?
Ooh, man.
65?
Let's see.
That's Cam Ward. Let's look at Tony Pollard. We'll get off of Cam and go to Tony Pollard. And let's take a look at that.
I know the Titans' rushing attack has jumped from 31st to 18th over the last 3 games because Pollard's been back. So
okay, I said 65. Or no, that's rushing and receiving.
It's 43.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Let's go more than 43.5 rushing yards for Tony Pollard. He's coming off of his career high. He's rolling. They're gonna, I think they're 2 of their top 3 receivers. 2 of them are rookies. I don't know if they really are going to be able to pass the ball on Renardo and Lenore. I would say no. So I think they're going to hand the ball to this guy. And if Judkins got, the Niners at the end of the game looked pretty good against the run, numbers wise, but Judkins had a number of runs for 7 yards on first down. It wasn't like they just totally shut down the run. And you've got some banged up linebackers. Yeah, I like that one. Let's go more than 43.5. All right, now let's take a look. Now let's see what we got. We'll put it all together. We'll go with Pollard more. So we got a 6-legger here. We got a 5-legger. It's this is going to be a big one. I think this is probably going to pay pretty good. All right, it's winding. Give it some time. Later that same day.
It's like the buffering on Pearsall's sophomore season. Just won't never get off the ground. It's like, come on, Ricky.
Seriously. Maybe we ask Ricky. Ricky, is the problem that you're just buffering too much?
Yeah.
Ricky, we've watched you and you appear to be lagging. All right. Well, we'll add it up here in just a second. See if Kev can do it in the back room. We need to add this up, and we'll see what we got.
So we have Purdy, McCaffrey, Jennings, Pearsall,
Sleeper's asleep.
Kittle,
Okay, wait.
man, and Pollard.
Oh, it's a big daddy. So we got CMC more than 46.5 receiving yards. CMC's got to have 47 receiving yards. Kittle's got to have a touchdown. Jennings has got to have a touchdown. Purdy's got to throw at least a pick. Pearsall's got to have a touchdown. So that means it's 3 passing touchdowns. And then Pollard has got to have 44 yards. I almost feel like we should take one out of there, but we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it. We'll give it a roll. $5 wins $442.40. And with that money, we will pay Ricky Pearsall's extension.
His 5th-year option's on us at Sleeper. Don't worry.
There you go. 5th, we'll get Parag on the line to pay the 5th-year option. All right, so there you go. And we should tell everybody once again, if you haven't signed up for Sleeper yet, now is the perfect time. Use my code to get a free $20. No deposit required. Plus, first-time users still also receive 100% deposit match up to $100, and you'll give yourself a shot at 1,000 times your cash. Even better, anyone who trails this community-built slip gets a chance to win $100 to use on Sleeper. Just send a screenshot of your slip with these picks to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com and include your Sleeper username in the email to enter. We're running this every week in the month of December, so do not miss out. And thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, let's get into a couple angles on the game. I thought the Niners Nation had a good article out today, Jason Aponte, and he went through 3 angles on the game that I think are kind of interesting statistically. And the first one is, I don't know if you saw this article, but Cam Ward, even when Cam Ward's under center, the Titans lead the NFL in 3 wides, 11 personnel. They've got a 73.2% 11 personnel usage. So they take you out of your base and they make you play nickel or dime, and they've got a couple rookies, DK and A.M. Manor with Van Jefferson. And the Niners have faced 11 personnel groupings 62.7% of the time, 7th highest rate in the NFL. And Upton Stout is the guy who kind of gets Johnny on the spot. He's got to step up. Now, at times, teams have picked on him. The 49ers ranked 25th in defensive EPA against 11 personnel. So is that something to be concerned about? Are we going to see, the Titans roll out with 3 wides and the 49ers struggle to match up, struggle to defend it?
Yeah, it's obviously a possibility. I also think that Upton Stout's playing his best football in the last couple games or so. He's kind of found some confidence late in the season. And you kind of seen San Francisco's secondary come together. Now they're playing some bad quarterbacks, and I'm sure a lot of that comes into play here, and you're not having to play Stafford or, Baker Mayfield or whatnot on a consistent basis right now. But I actually think that may favor San Francisco. I don't love their base defense, whether it is, Luke Gifford or, I'd rather take linebackers off the field right now, knowing how many guys are currently injured, and kind of lean on Stout and whatnot. Now, I think a big issue in that could be Jason Pinnock, who's just been a nothing burger all year for San Francisco. He's a fine enough run defender, but he's terrible in coverage. So if they choose that big nickel and it's Pinnock, then I think, it's a big concern for them. But if it is Stout, I have a lot more confidence in San Francisco secondary pulling this thing out. I don't really buy Cam Ward. He's playing fine. He's not playing the number 1 overall pick level of play. He has 9 touchdowns this year, 7 interceptions, fumbled a couple times, and there's been some inaccuracies in his game. So I think the quarterback play at Tennessee will help bail out some of the issues San Francisco's defense may have. But maybe I'm just riding that hand. I'm really confident in Upton Stout in this game. But if it is again Pinnock, then my God, buckle your seatbelts, folks.
Ward he holds the ball too long, like a lot of rookie quarterbacks. He takes too many sacks. There's too many negative plays. But you know what? He's also kind of a gamer. And if you saw him at Miami against Cal, he was amazing in the comeback. If you saw him in the 4th quarter against the Cardinals, in one of their 2 wins this year, he actually looked really, really good. But, they also are last in the NFL in second half rush attempts because they fall behind. They lose balance. They have to pass and pass and pass some more. It's a difficult situation for a rookie quarterback for sure. One thing to look for that Aponte points out here, and it's a good point, that only the Dolphins use more motion, pre-snap motion, than the Niners. Niners are in pre-snap motion 67.8% of their offensive snaps, and they do it for a lot of reasons, angles in the run game and mismatches and trying to identify coverage and kind of read the defense's hand of cards before the snap. But if you look at the Titans are second worst defense against motion in the league with an EPA that's 0.18. So expect the Niners to introduce a number of plays where pre-snap motion, and we'll see if the Titans can hang. And then I think the other area that's kind of interesting is Titans are dead last in intermediate defensive EPA. The Niners are 8th in the NFL on intermediate throws, and now they didn't stop Sampson, they couldn't stop Judkins. Now here comes CMC, and maybe even a Garendo if this game got out of hand. I think the 49ers throwing it short to CMC and their backs, or even not necessarily to the backs, but just throwing it in the short and intermediate area, they might just absolutely be able to just do this all day against Tennessee. I have a feeling Tennessee's not going to be able to stop the 49ers short passing game.
Yeah, when you look at the Titans cornerbacks this year, an 11.4 average depth of target. Teams push the ball downfield a ton. There are a lot of explosive plays. You saw Sam Darnold a couple weeks ago against this defense, albeit he has JSN and San Francisco doesn't. You can get explosives against them, and I think that the Niners will at least be looking for them. I think the one thing you want to do for San Francisco when you're playing a team that, is coming off their second win of the season, maybe a little confident. They beat the Browns, play good against their defense. They're on the road now coming into your house, you're off your bye week. The one thing you really want to do is just grab that rug right from under them, smack them right in the face and say, get back to where you were. You're a 2-win team for a reason. And you want the Niners to walk out there and just kind of assert their dominance over the Titans defense, which can be had over and over and over again. And the pass rush really isn't a thing for them. It's Arden Key, who's a good depth guy. It's Sebastian Joseph Day. It's Jeffrey Simmons, who's having a great year. But when you have one guy, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to scheme against. And I just have this almost unwavering faith against or for San Francisco's offense against this Titans defense, who's just been abysmal all season long.
Another topic that I wanted to hit that I think is an interesting topic is the whole Aiyuk thing. They voided his year, is guaranteed money. We found out about that. And then Lynch and Shanahan kept doubling down on, we hope to have him back. And, things are, hopefully we'll have a positive ending. And Lynch stopped by this morning on KMBR and they said, hey, how about a Brandon Aiyuk update? He's like, no update. No update. I think they're starting to realize that if they keep saying, hey, man, he could come back. I mean, they don't want to be like, he's out, he's gone, he's done, he's never coming back, because they don't want to do that, and they don't want to put that down. They don't want to put that out there. But they also, I think, are probably aware at this point that it sounds like there's two distinctly different camps when it comes to Aiyuk inside the Niner walls if they keep saying, hey, man, he could be back, and it could be a positive outcome. So now they're kind of going with the, no update, nothing new to report. George Kittle was asked about Aiyuk today at his locker, and this is what he said. At this point, it doesn't seem like he's coming back. I try my best not to even think about it because I love Brandon. He's one of my favorite teammates I've played with. We have a lot of moments together from his rookie year. Every year we played together. We have a ton of memories together. That's the Brandon I remember. And if I think about, I wish he'd be here and stuff like that, it kind of just makes me sad. So I just kind of push it to the side. I've got to admit, we've got to make do with what we've got in the locker room, and the guys that are here want to be here. I don't know what that relationship is like right now, and it is what it is. So I just got to focus on this team. I wish I could focus on that, but I just can't. Um, you know, it really makes you wonder, you know, that it doesn't. I mean, I have not thought that Aiyuk is coming back for over a month now. I just don't think he's coming back. But I don't understand why they keep saying stuff like, man, it would be really nice if it all, they keep painting a picture of him playing again for the Niners, and it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen at all. Give me your read on this situation. Is he ever going to play again? Are they going to release him? Are they going to trade him? What's the end game here? There's a lot of smoke coming out that he wants to be a Commander. Be careful what you wish for is what I would say to that. But, I could definitely see that happening. What's your read on Aiyuk? Do you agree with Kittle when he says it doesn't seem like he's coming back?
I mean, yeah, if Brandon Aiyuk, who from what the reports indicate didn't take his rehab seriously enough, he wasn't at the building when the Niners needed him at the building, he wasn't hitting his markers, he wasn't hitting the dates needed to be there, then to willingly let his guarantees get voided, essentially not playing for free, but risking, if you get hurt again or re-injure your knee, you don't have guarantees on your contract or much less of them. If you come back, you look like an idiot of like, yep, take my money. Yep, I'm done. Yep, I don't want to be here. Well, wait a minute. Now I want to come back. What? Like, you're risking your future. You're risking your longevity. It just, now I get it. There is a competitive nature in some guys, and seeing San Francisco, what could be 10-4 at the end of this weekend. Maybe that lights a fire under him saying, man, playoffs sound great right now. Biggest stage I can prove myself, then leave. But that's not going to happen. At least I don't think it is. I think you'd never see Brandon Aiyuk ever again in a Niners jersey, whether he's in Washington or he's in Chicago, or I don't know where else he can go to, Kansas City. I don't know. I think it's over. I think the minute they avoided the guarantees, I think that was it. That was like the understood, okay, gotcha. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your effort. And we'll agree to shake hands and walk away once the season's over. Now, I do think San Francisco would like to trade him. Now, I don't think that's a possibility. I think teams don't want the contract. They rather you cut him. They get to pay him whatever they want to, and he can go wherever he wants to. But his trade value probably isn't high. The contract's too big. It'll shrink that trade value again on top of it. I just think that, and really quite frankly, we don't even know what the knee looks like. And that's also a big concern. Like if he came back and we saw him out there in the practice field and he looked healthy, but just, kind of threw a fit and didn't want to play, that's a different story. But you have a guy who doesn't want to be there, let his money go, didn't file a grievance. It's just, that doesn't give me any indication he'll be back. And honestly, like, I know Purdy and Kittle talked about, they don't want to get into the off the field stuff. It isn't their place. And I understand that, but it's like, you want that guy back in your locker room? This isn't a contract negotiation of like, yeah, get yours. This is, you chose not to be here. You chose not to come back. Now you want to rejoin things when we're going to the playoffs? No. Like, I wouldn't want him back. It's not a team player. Go sit out the season and goodbye. We wish you well, but goodbye.
I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was when he left. I think they'd be better off feeding the ball to Jordan Watkins, who's got 4.3 speed and didn't tear all his ligaments. I'd be very surprised if Brandon Aiyuk ever played for the Niners. I'd be very shocked. But if he's ever good again, I don't think he's going to be good again. All right. I'm going to share the screen on this. Who gets your vote for the Pro Bowl?
Ooh.
The Pro Bowl, which is no longer.
Yeah.
There is no game. But, you look at this list and you think about it for a second and you're like, wait a second. There's some deserving guys here. CMC definitely gets a vote.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably give Kittle a vote, even though he's missed some games. Juszczyk gets a vote. Trent Williams gets a vote. Eddie Piñeiro's got to get a vote.
Yep.
I think Luke Gifford probably gets a vote. He's leading them in special teams tackles. And maybe even Sky Moore gets a vote.
Yeah.
So that would
right.
what, 3 on the right hand column and 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be seven Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else on that list that could make it or is deserving.
Pooney, no. Brendel, no. McKivitz, no. McKivitz has had a decent year, but come on, no.
I think if Pooney played how he's playing now early in the season, I know he was hurt and was probably a big reason why, but he's playing much better. But that first couple 6 games really killed him. It was just oh my God, you had people saying play somebody else, but thankfully he's kind of rounded back into form. But you're not voting Jake Brendel in, and you're probably not voting Jair Brown in by any means. But I think the guaranteed guys, at least for me, is Christian McCaffrey and Eddie Piñeiro and Sky Moore. Those 3 guys have to go, and probably use checks. So those Trent. 4 guys are shoe-ins. I mean, if Paris Campbell didn't get hurt for Arizona, I think he would get it over Trent. Trent's having a good year, and I know the age comes into a factor. There are signs of slowing down, but has Trent been a top 3 left tackle in the NFC this season, though? That's the question for me.
It's hard to say because I don't grade out offensive tackles like that
right.
across the board. But
right.
My sense of it is that he started slow, but is finishing fast.
Yeah, that makes sense. If Trent gets in, does he break the record for left tackle Pro Bowlers? Or does he already have it?
That's a good question. What about a guy like Munoz all those years? No, he's got Munoz beat already.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Look that up. We got a couple supers here, but let me go with this story. A lot of talk today on your radio station, 95.7 The Game.
How fun.
From Willard and Dibbs driving around. And, sometimes those guys need to touch grass, man. Sometimes those guys need to touch grass. And today was that day. Today was that day they needed to touch grass. And I only bring it up because it's juicy, and I just think on the radio, no, I'm not going to question them because, it's whatever. But they brought up Joe Burrow trade to the Niners.
Man.
And, Joe, this is all stems from Joe Burrow's presser where he said he's not having fun. Not having the same fun he had before the turf toe injury. And since his return, the Bengals have split a couple games, and he's just not having fun. He wanted to go have fun and play. Said he wanted to go have fun, play football. When he was asked to expound on that, he said that has to be a priority for him moving forward. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it, said Burrow. I've been through a lot and it's not fun. Then what am I doing it for? So what's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table? He's in his 6th NFL season. I've heard other people talking about this today saying, maybe he doesn't have a wife or girlfriend. Maybe he doesn't have, maybe he doesn't have kids and he doesn't have a family. Maybe he just needs a little bit more in his life than just the NFL. Almost all these other guys, if you watch that quarterback show, they all had kind of a life. This guy didn't have much of a life outside of playing quarterback. It was he grew up in Athens, Ohio, and he was going to be the greatest Buckeye quarterback. And then he, goes there, wins a national championship at LSU, then winds up playing in-state. But the organization's just god-awful in the Bengals, and he sounds like he's just getting tired of it. And it's easy to go, well, the Bengals just need to pull the ripcord and trade him for nothing. But they've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and, some big-time guys. So Willard threw out, would you trade Brock Purdy and 2 1s for Burrow? So why don't we make that our big finish tonight? We'll finish big on this topic. brought to you by Habbas Law. Thank you, Habbas Law, for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. HabbasLaw.com on the web. HABBAS Law.com. They're a great company, Habbas Law. Whenever Habbas Law goes up against the big insurance companies, the ones that stall and deny and hope that you'll give up, they don't blink. They grind them down. They do an incredible job. So if you've been injured and you want to win, there's only one call to make. Visit HabbasLaw.com. Habbas Law, they will fight to make it right. 1-800-INJURED. And thanks to Habbas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. What do you think? If tomorrow the phone rang, it's in Santa Clara, and it's the Bengals saying, we'll give you Joe Burrow, but we want Brock Purdy and 2 1s. John Lynch says what?
I mean, you got to say, at least from a quarterback, like just who's better. Like Burrow's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy is. Now, there's more in that.
It's a big drama thing, though, because it's like, you're basically uprooting the leader in the room, who you've gone to a Super Bowl with, that everybody knows and is comfortable with, and you're basically saying, we're just going to rip him out of the leadership role, and we're going to rip another guy out of another organization and just drop him into your locker room. It's a lot of volatility, and yes, you'd be getting the better quarterback, because I think everybody would admit that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback. I love Brock Purdy. Joe Burrow is, in my opinion, still a better quarterback.
Yes.
It's not a rip on Brock Purdy to say that. Some people would think it is. So on one hand, you're getting the better quarterback, and yet the Niners have had this opportunity. They could have had Tom Brady, but he was 42 or 43, and instead they had Jimmy Garoppolo, and he was 28. And they said, you know what? We're not going to go with the better quarterback. We're going to go with the more comfortable decision, and they went with Garoppolo. So do you stay with the more comfortable decision, Brock Purdy, or do you make a very uncomfortable, maybe even borderline unpopular decision and roll the dice?
See, we say that, right? Like San Francisco chose Jimmy Garoppolo over Tom Brady. It was comfortable, but like the next offseason, they traded away 3 first-round draft picks for a guy they didn't know they were going to pick at the time. So it's like they have done both, and I don't know if you can uproot that position, and money comes into play and injury history comes into play, all that stuff, and all that stuff matters. There's no trade clauses involved for sure and everything, and I don't know what that looks like. But I mean, they'd have the best quarterback in the NFC. Like, they'd have a quarterback with Shanahan at head coach and OC. You can rival Stafford and McVay all day. Like, I'm sure
is the no trade clause even a factor, though? I mean, I know Brock's got a no trade clause, but realistically, who would ever exercise a no trade clause to stay with a team that was trying to trade you? It's like having a no trade clause in your marriage. She wants a divorce. I got a no trade.
Yeah, read the fine print.
Maybe I ain't going anywhere. I got a no trade. I got a full no trade clause, honey. You can't get rid of me.
Yeah,
I got a no trade clause.
At that point, you're just a squatter in somebody else's house.
Yeah, seriously.
You don't want to be that.
Stop squatting on the marriage. If all of a sudden, the Niners wanted to trade him and he's like, no, I'm staying and you're not having Joe Burrow. And then word gets out. Could you imagine the toxic nature of that situation?
Well, then, this would be Shanahan and Lynch's 4th try at a franchise quarterback. It's like, you just told Jed and Prague we're paying this guy $53 million a season, and you go against Burrow, who I think is making $2 more million a season. Now, the upcharge is worth it if Burrow's healthy and whatnot. But also, there was on ESPN today talking about, would Joe Burrow retire and everything? And it's like,
he sounds unhappy.
He does, and I don't blame him. The Bengals are a mess. Trey Hendrickson's out for the rest of the season. I don't think he's going to re-sign. The Shamar Stewart pick is a disaster right now for a lot of reasons. The ownership is not good. The head coach shouldn't be there probably past the season. But if you're the Bengals, would you want Brock Purdy? I don't know. Like, you might. Brock's a great guy and he's a good locker room dude. I think he could, walk into that situation and probably win you a lot of games. And he's been healthier than Burrow has been the last couple of seasons. But I mean, I don't even know if the Bengals would do that. Like, yeah, 2 first-round draft picks for a guy we can probably call the Jets and get 4 of them for. And the Jets are terrible, and they're going to be terrible even if Burrow's there. Like, I don't even know if the Jets would do that or the Bengals would do that. It's like, now
you would be getting a quarterback. You're getting a good quarterback coming back,
right?
So
at a
fairly
a little bit of a discount, I guess.
I mean, it's funny. Willard and Dibbs were debating it, and Willard was like, "Hey, you'd get Purdy," and Dibbs was like, "Hey, you wouldn't want Purdy." But I don't know. I mean, Dibbs was saying, "Hey, you'd rather have Mac Jones," but I think Dibbs is thinking of it more of like an NBA situation, where it's like, oh, you've got different ways to build. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know how the cap hits would all work out, and all that kind of thing. I just think it would be such a dramatic move that what if Joe Burrow walked into your locker room and guys didn't like him? Then what?
Yeah.
What if you walked into your room and everybody's like, man, this guy's a fraud. This guy's a fake, Or just what if they doesn't get along, Or if the vibes have to be right. Chemistry is a tricky thing. It really is.
It like winning can erase that, right? Like problems like Joe Burrow not having fun probably correlates to I was hurt and we're not winning games. Like you winning games again, that makes football fun. You being healthy again makes football fun. And I don't know if Cincinnati's a place where he can do either one of those things. And the offensive line's a mess, and so is the team. But I mean, really, like to take a much more realistic approach to this and talking about maybe a connection for Burrow in San Francisco, why not Robert Saleh joining the Bengals? Bad ownership, I get that, but the quarterback's in place, the receivers are in place. He can fix that defense. I believe that wholeheartedly. And he'd get guys to buy in, and he'd make football fun again for Joe Burrow instead of Zach Taylor, who doesn't know what he's doing.
I heard today that the Raiders wanted Robert Saleh as their DC, and that maybe the Raiders will want Robert Saleh with Mac Jones in 26. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Do you trade Geno at that point, and where?
Who wants him?
Back to the Jets?
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to call it quits, but I do have to get your thoughts on. We'll hit a couple of these supers. We got this one from Stefan. Would you take 2 seconds for Mac? Yes, I would.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was very easy. Carson Taylor says, do you all think Saleh is too good for Michigan? I don't know if he wants to go coach in college.
It's like a demotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of what the Giants aren't doing in the winter meetings?
Signing players, to put it bluntly. I know there's some talk about, them signing a pitcher and everything. I just think that you have to pick a lane. You can't ride a fence of we want to contend and we have an offense, but, we want to get Merrill Kelly and Tyler Molley. No, go get the big guy. Go make a trade, make a splash, like whether it's trading Eldridge for whoever that can be here for a couple of years and be the second ace to your team or whatever. I don't hate the inaction. It's just more of like you're hearing interested. Okay, well, interested doesn't mean anything. Like you want to see more, like once like now you're leaving winter meetings, you want to see deals start kind of rolling in and getting
Stop
some deal
teasing
done.
us. Stop teasing us.
Yeah, it's like all they've signed is Sam Hentges and let go of Joey Lucchese, and they got Joey Weimer from the Marlins, who then they work out, and you traded Marco or you let go of Marco Luciano, which whatever. But this is the offseason. The Padres are going to cut some salary. They want to get worse. The D-backs are in flux. The Rockies are a perennial stinker. The Mets have lost 2 major players for them. The NL is wide open for you in the wild card. Be aggressive, take a chance. It'll pay off with the fans financially and also getting some wins and hopefully going back to the playoffs for the first time since 2021, which that I think this fan base desperately wants and needs right now.
They need more pitching, but they also need more offense, and it's a boring team. It's a boring baseball team. That's going to do it for us. Sterling, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on social media at 49ers_access is the X or Twitter. 49ers.access is the Instagram. And you can follow us on YouTube, subscribe there, and on the audio podcasting platforms at 49ers Access. We do things just like this almost every single day, breaking down the San Francisco 49ers latest news, updates, and rumors. We released our Niners-Titans preview episode this morning. Check that out. It's on YouTube and again on the audio podcasting platforms.
Have a great night, everybody. Tomorrow morning, I'm live with Damon Bruce at 9 a.m. Until then, peace. Thanks for joining the Krug Show. Have a great night. Sterling, you're the man.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.